Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're unpacking a really interesting game from the end of the NBA regular season.
Yeah, which one are we looking at?
The Portland Trail Blazers versus the LA Lakers from April 13th, 2025. You actually flagged this one. Seemed like you wanted to dive into how things wrapped up, especially with the Lakers and the playoff push.
Right, exactly. It's a good snapshot. I think it really tells a story about both teams.
We've got the ESPN game recap here. Score, key players, and importantly, who wasn't playing. Plus, that crucial playoff context, especially for LA.
Yeah. Our goal today is to dig beyond just the final score. Understand what this game really meant for Portland heading into the offseason and for the Lakers as they prep for the playoffs.
Let's do it. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the score.
Okay, the final score was Portland 109, Lakers 81. That's a pretty big win.
Yeah, absolutely. A decisive victory for the Trailblazers. And significant for them too, because this was their last game of the season, right? Ending on a high note at home.
Exactly, something positive to carry into the offseason. You always want that.
Now, on the flip side, the Lakers, rough way to end the regular season. But the recap does stress they were pretty short-handed.
Short-handed? Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Look at who was out. Luka Dončić with a left quad soreness, LeBron James with a left groin strain.
Oof, those aren't just role players. Those are your superstars, your engines.
Totally. You take those guys out and the whole team dynamic shifts. Offensively, defensively, everything.
Yeah, and it wasn't just them. The list goes on. Rui Hachimura with a patellar tendon issue. Austin Reeves with a right ankle sprain. Jackson Hayes with a right hand contusion.
Wow, that's a lot of key contributors out. Definitely a tough situation for LA.
And yet Portland wasn't at full strength either. They were missing Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, Denv Dija, and Jerami Grant.
Okay, so both teams were shorthanded. How does that affect the final score?
It means this wasn't really a true test of either team's best capabilities. It's about depth, seeing what younger guys or end-of-bench players can do.
Speaking of young players, the Lakers actually had a notable performance from a rookie, Dalton Neck.
Right, 27 points in a game like this. Given the stars were out, that's got to be encouraging for the Lakers, seeing a rookie step up offensively.
Absolutely, it shows potential, a glimpse of what he can do when given the opportunity. Even if the game didn't matter for the standings, it's still valuable information.
And didn't Bronny James also get his first career start?
He did. First start, 4 points. Not a huge scoring night, but still a milestone in his rookie year.
Despite the loss, though, the Lakers' playoff fate was already sealed.
Yeah, they'd already beaten Houston before this game, locking them into the third seed in the West. This game didn't change a thing.
So, for the Lakers coaching staff, what was the priority heading into this game?
Health. Rest Luka, rest LeBron, rest anyone dealing with injuries. Get them as ready as possible for the Minnesota series.
And maybe give some run to guys like Neck. See what you have in the reserves.
Exactly. Keep the end-of-bench players sharp. Maybe find something unexpected.
Now, Portland's situation was a little different. They were already out of the playoffs.
Right, fourth straight season without the postseason. That's tough for a franchise and its fans.
It is, but the recap points out they actually finished 36-46, which exceeded expectations.
Considering they had the second youngest roster in the NBA, 36 wins, while not a playoff spot, is still better than many predicted. Shows some growth.
Yeah, and that youth factor is huge. It suggests players like Sharpe and Henderson, when healthy, are developing.
Could be. Or maybe the coaching staff found ways to make it work despite the inexperience.
Speaking of coaching, Chauncey Billups had just gotten a contract extension that same day.
Yep, a multi-year extension sends a strong message, right?
Stability. Confidence in the direction they're heading, even without making the playoffs yet. Committing to him after exceeding expectations with this young group shows a lot of alignment.
All right, let's talk about the game flow itself. The recap says Portland led the whole first half.
Yeah, they seemed in control early. Matisse Thybulle hit a 3 to make it 48-42, and they built on that, pushing it to 58-43 by halftime.
That gave them a solid cushion going into the second half.
And then they really blew it open in the third quarter, outscoring LA 31-18.
Wow. By the time the fourth quarter started, the score was 89-61. That's a huge gap.
Hard to keep pace when you're missing so much offensive firepower. Plus, this small note, Alex Len fouled out for the Lakers in just 13 minutes.
Wow. That really sums up their struggles, doesn't it? A veteran, big man, fouling out. That quickly only compounds the problem.
Definitely throws a wrench in the rotation, especially when you're already thin. Limits your options.
Now, this game was the last one between them, but they actually played 4 times during the season. How did the series shake out?
Funny thing, Portland won this final game, but LA actually took the season series 3-1.
Right. 3 Lakers wins, and then this final one for Portland. So what does that tell us?
Probably reinforces that point about player availability. The earlier games likely saw both teams closer to full strength. This last game, not so much.
Exactly. It's an outlier due to the Lakers' injuries.
The recap also mentions the crowd at the Moda Center in Portland, 19,235 people. Pretty solid turnout for a game that didn't have playoff implications.
Yeah, especially with one of the teams already out of contention.
And the betting line? Portland was favored by 5.5 points. The over-under was 216.5.
That makes sense. Even with all the absences, the market still leaned towards Portland, expected them to win, especially given the Lakers' missing superstars.
Exactly. And the lower over-under suggests less offensive firepower on the court.
For context, the recap also gives us the final division standings. The Lakers finished tied with the Clippers in the Pacific Division.
That's a strong regular season for LA, especially considering the competition in that division.
And Portland, sitting at 36-46, was in a tough division with teams like OKC and Denver.
That puts their record into perspective. It wasn't an easy schedule.
Agreed, they were competitive, even against the league's best.
All right, so, to wrap up, key takeaways. Portland finishes strong, beats a depleted Lakers team.
Yeah, a feel-good end to their season with a young roster. For the Lakers, though, the game didn't affect the playoffs. It was all about staying healthy.
Exactly. Prioritizing health for that Minnesota series. The final score matters less when you consider who wasn't playing.
So what's the big picture for the Lakers? Can their supporting cast step up in the playoffs? And for Portland, how do they make the jump into the playoff picture next year?
Yeah, big off-season for Portland. They've got to focus on internal development and possibly adding some external pieces.
Lots to think about for both teams. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.